Welcome to Creations with X. Today I will be teaching you about Tunisian crochet. So, grab your hooks, grab your yarn, and let's get started. So, first, I just want to show you what a Tunisian crochet hook looks like. This is an official crochet hook for Tunisian crochet. It's kind of looks like a knitting needle on the end. This is generally what would be used for Tunisian crocheting, but since this is only going to be, this is usually for longer, it's good for longer projects, and it, as compared to a regular crochet hook, does not have this little finger grip in the middle, so it's completely flat. Today, we're only doing a sample piece today, so I'm not going to use this, but it's good to keep in mind for the future if you ever wanted to get into it more, have like a big project that you wanted to make. But to demonstrate, I'm just going to make a slip knot, and you're going to take your hook and insert it. I'm going to get a slightly larger crochet hook. This is an 8mm crochet hook, and this is a 5mm, just because it is best to use a larger hook for this type of stitches. It can be very tight and prone to curling. So this is an 8mm hook. I'd say maybe a 6mm hook could also work. It doesn't, or a 6.5mm. It doesn't have to be this big. This is just for demonstration purposes. So you're just going to chain however many stitches you want or need for your project. This is about 6. Okay, we'll do this many, just a small sample square. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn your work on its side, like so. So you're going to skip this first chain with the yarn coming out of it, go into the second one, and pull up a loop. You're going to go into the next stitch after that, pull up a loop. You're not going to work through any of these loops just yet. You're just going to have them on your hook. Going to go through, pull up a loop. And remember, you want one for every stitch you made, except for the one on the end. So you'll have, your total should be the amount of stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this loop counts for this chain at the end. You have 8 stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull through the first loop on the hook, and only the first loop. That's important. Then you're going to hook again, pull through the next 2 loops. So the one on your hook and the one on your hook. So these two, the one you do, the active loop, and the one next on your hook. Kind of like a single crochet, but you're only doing them one at a time. You're going to loop up, pull through the new, pull through 2, pull through 2, and you see what's happening? It's kind of like a bit like a ladder. It's like a ladder, especially if you hold it this way. Now you want to make sure you're only doing 2 loops, because you see if you do 3, it messes it up. So don't do 3 loops. I'm also going to show you different ways to do this stitch. So there are different methods some people do to make this stitch look different. I'm going to show you the one I usually use, which involves going into this first loop. You're just sticking your hook through this first loop here. If I take my hook out, I can show you just like through there like that. You're going to pull up a loop. You're going to go into the next stitch as well, that next bar, pull up a loop, And you're going to repeat this process all the way to the end. As you can see, it's kind of looking a bit more tighter down here, and this is why I say to go up a bit, a hook size or so, just to make sure, because it's really tight. So this is just to make sure you don't accidentally have super tight tension and it just curls, because this is only worked one-sided. You don't turn your work at all, so having a looser tension is definitely good. And if you never turn your work at all, it will most likely curl. It does curl. So we reached the end. We're going to, and you see this kind of like bar right here? That's the end stitch that you want to go into, like that. Going to chain 1, so to speak, for the end stitch. Then you're going to go through 2, 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 and now we've reached the end. So you can kind of start to see what it's looking like there. It's becoming very tightly woven, tightly crocheted. Back it kind of looks like knitting almost, but it's not. There's also another method you can do, which is going into this stitch here, going into that loop right there and pulling up through. So you're going to go into that and then through, pull up a loop, into that and through, pull up a loop. You're just going, this is the second method. This one makes it look a lot more like stockinette stitch and knitting. Then for this end one, I'm just going to go through, like the 2 loops right there. This is a different method to do. I don't usually do this one. I usually just do the different one, because I just habit. Just chain 1, go through 2, and you're just going to crochet back the way you came as normal. This is really quite an easy stitch once you get the hang of it. It can be used for multiple things, but you see you're starting to get a bit of like a knit effect. I'll just do one more row to solidify that. Just going through. Yeah, it's a really good stitch for projects. I know there's a really interesting technique called the Tunisian entrelac stitch, and that's entrelac with an E. If you are curious and want to search it up for yourself, I will most likely be making a tutorial about it in the future. And it's really quite a nice stitch. This is also really good for blankets. It's got really, especially if you do the first method, really tight, really hard to get through. Just a really good stitch. Then you're just going to crochet back. And it's really easy, and make sure you do keep your tension fairly loose if you don't want it curling. So that's just a second row. You can see it looks a lot like knitting. Over here, down here. If I flip it around, you can see this looks a lot like stockinette stitch on the back here as well. And I'm going to show you the last method, which involves actually going into this part of the stitch here and pulling up a loop. So you skip this bar entirely and just go into the middle gap. And this one will produce a more airy feel, like it's a bit more holey and lacy, and it just gives it a completely different effect. So this is essentially going to be Tunisian crochet 3 ways. At the end of this, you do want to check your stitch count. As you can see, I only have 7 on my hook, so I'm going to go into that last one. chain 1, and just gonna work your way back. I don't ever really use this last method. It's really lacy. It leaves kind of like this gap-ish, so to speak. Let me show you. But you can see, probably isn't the best to work all three on the same one, so we'll just keep, but it's fine. Yeah. Chain 1, and then just go back as usual. Yeah, it's really simple, really easy once you get the hang of it. It can go quite fast, but yeah, you don't turn your work at all in this. You simply keep working, you just keep it straight, keep it facing you. So as you can see, it's gonna curl. Like, I'm using an 8mm hook, and it's still curling. This is a 4-ply worsted weight, and this is a number 4 worsted weight. No, 4-ply. It might be 4-ply. I'm not sure. I have to check the label, but you can see what the effect is. And you can, and finally, I will show you how to finish off your Tunisian project. So, yes, you can technically just cut the yarn, pull it through the loop, and finish it off like this, but it kind of leaves this weird bar edge, like it's kind of half unfinished. So, I'm going to show you how to finish it. What you're going to do is, I'm going to just go back to my original method. You can just kind of you could also do the second method. I don't think, you could also probably technically do this with the third method too. It just kind of look a bit different. But I'm going to just do the first method I showed you. So I'm just going to go into this and pull through. It's like basically slip stitching. You just work your way to the end, going through that loop, pulling through, and pulling through twice. If you were to do the other method, you would just, or the second method, you would just go through the loop, pull through, and do that, just to make, it's like working around is normal, just making it's just slip stitching instead of, more similar to slip stitching instead of single crochet. But, as you can see, it's really quite simple. And you have that nice finished edge, and it doesn't look like it's going, you just kind of dropped your work. So, that is how you Tunisian crochet. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps you learn this technique. Thanks for watching. Bye.